Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm a little bit late here. Hang on a second. My charts are still loading. I'm getting a little error message here from NinjaTrader. Hold on, I may have to reboot it. Computers are great, aren't they? All right, let's try this again. I know you got the pretty blue screen. I was making the poor computer try to do too many things at once. The screen share software is a bit of a memory hog. Okay, we'll just wait for those charts to load. Wow, 40 or 75, 60 prices falling off. Market closed yesterday somewhere around 76.50, so we're down about 100 points here on the NASDAQ. Come on. Wow, it's taking a long time to load. Well, we'll just have to stay with it. There we go, starting to fill in a bit. Okay, I think we're humming right along here. This was yesterday's session, a very neutral doji style day, and here's today already. Look at how deep the market has dropped off since the overnight. So yesterday, a very neutral, very sideways day. Today, definitely looking like we are resuming the trend. So when I look at the daily chart, I can't help but think that this is a little bit of a pullback phase. And because this at one point was a bit of an expanding triangle, see that? Those kinds of things tend to happen as markets drift into trading ranges. So it's not that we won't have opportunities here, but it does seem likely that the market is setting up to establish a bit of a sideways range. So it looks like for the time being, the NASDAQ may have topped out around 7,900. It's hunting for some support right now. We had a lot of buying come down here around 7,300, so that's major support. I would think the market would try to recover before that, possibly around 7,400. That's still 150 points lower. So all the talking heads on TV are going to be having fun with that, trying to figure out why the market is in a tank today and for the last couple of days, really. But it does seem as though the trend is down. So you're going to, I think, be better off staying to the trend side as much as possible. I'm a little late on this signal right here, but I would have considered shorting this eagle signal. This would have been my first, oh, sorry, no, it's not my first in-sync eagle signal. My first in-sync eagle signal actually came up here. Oh, no, wait a minute. It came down here. The market very busy here these first couple of minutes of trading. Looks like it's one of those days where your first in-sync eagle signal may not have worked so nicely. And what's wrong with my Raptor and Falcon? I'll try rebooting the data on those. Let's see if it will let me do two of them without buggering everything up. Oh, my historical data is corrupted. There we go. Ray says the Fed spoke this morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. So that nice pre-market report. Sorry about this. Okay, there we go. All right, so we'll give the market here a few minutes. Just to settle in. Like I said, I would prefer a with trend trade. So, here's one on the Eagle. Let's go back here to the market. So it's a hard edge bounce. That's the green bar sell, and signal produced right here, followed up with your basic with trend signal. Bollingers are in sync. We had comparable signals here with our other tools. Back here at the same time, we had a Falcon trend change signal. We had the number 1 and number 3 signals on the Raptor. And, well, take your pick here from your Hawk signals. Okay, at this point, I'm going to roll my stops into break even, or you could use this bar with this little wick to it. If you wanted, you could try to run this one out a little bit because it is early. We are in trend mode. Oh, how did I end up? How did I end up with two of those? Well, I'm having loads of fun here with my charts this morning. There is only one trade calculator. Oh, look at that. It's still there. Yeah, okay, I get it. Something's, I need to reboot my NinjaTrader. I'm not going to do that right now, though, unless it keeps annoying the heck out of me. All right, so hooray for us. I was a good boy, and I took profit on target. And I would have made my trading quota actually relatively early here. We're only about 15 minutes in, but it was a nice little trade. Like I said, with trend, the trend looking to be to the short side. And at this point, my trading day could be done. See you later. Let's get a tea time. Ooh, look at that. We are getting some follow through on this. Looks like right now it looks as though that opening gap, that 100 points lower from where the market left off yesterday, may be more of a momentum gap. All right, we are establishing a little bit of a trading range at this point. You could still look to short. The problem is stop placement. At the very least, I would say your stop placement needs to go up here. There is also a bit of a danger that we have had a sideways trading range develop. This is the breakout, and now this is the retest. So if that's the case, you could put your just in case order to short down there and look and wait and see whether this retest actually holds. At this point, you could put a just in case order to buy up here. Now, this is a much more aggressive type trade. What we've done is we've isolated a breakout. We've seen where the market has come back to react. So the market is essentially cornered at this point. It's either going to break out and head back inside the trading range and maybe go much higher, or it's going to fail and head lower and head to the next profit objective. And likewise here to the upside, we can preset our profit targets. All right, so we got fill to the long side. I'm going to cancel the other order, and I'm going to use my sell order here as my stop loss. Oops. Look at that. Look at the joys of counter trend trading. I would have been better off ignoring any buying attempts. Yeah, look at that. The market's just so strong to the short side today. I've mentioned it before, but perhaps the most difficult challenge you will face as a trader is to determine trend. And once you have trend, just stay with the trend. I think I've shared with you before as well, when I go through my trading journals, or just a simple fact of writing stuff in my trading journals, it becomes apparent that counter trend trades never seem to work out very well. And there's a nice little example, and I keep getting these error messages popping up. All right, well, see, here we're getting another little tempting counter trend signal, scoundrels. That was a pretty deep move lower, and a lot of traders are going to be seeing this as another little bit of a trading range. Ideally, I would like to see a little bit of a pullback. It's easier to enter the market on a pullback. In fact, you could argue that you won't really learn to make any money trading until you learn to trade a pullback. Shoot, I'm a little bit too late here on this number 3 signal. I spent too much time talking. All right, it's a very extended second push opportunity on this number 3 signal, but again, it's with trend, so I will make the exception. I don't think my stops were there. I think they were up there. Come on, not asking a lot from you guys here. This is a bit of a problem with these second push opportunities. Typically, you want them to occur a bar or two after the signal generates. So back here, the signal generated, the next bar or two was a second push opportunity. That's a great way to get in. Here, the signal printed, I was way down here. I was already at my profit target before the second push opportunity developed. Not as favorable. Okay, at this point, I'm going to bring the stops in because this attempt, again, to recover the market to the short side, that's the last chance the sellers have to pull this off. All right, well, they did tap me there at break even, which is always better than a loss. But it seems as though we've lost some of that initial follow through. So I'm going to put this on hold here for a while and just kind of let the market thrash about. We're almost out of opening range. I really don't want to do anything stupid. Oops, too late for that. All right, well, a little bit of bullishness creeping into the market now. Are the buyers going to make a stand? Ooh, things looking a little bit more promising here for the bulls. All right, I may attempt this here because I got a little bit of a second push opportunity on this signal here that we're looking at in the Falcon. So we have our basic trend change signal now in the Falcon. We had this bar here produce the second push opportunity, so it was still reasonably close to my entry point. And hopefully we're going to get a little bit of push through. Now, here's a situation where stop placement is a little bit tricky. We've had a decent push higher. You see there's a reaction to this breaking of this resistance area here. Whenever we breach a significant resistance zone or support zone, we anticipate two moves in the direction of the breakout. So this is move number one. And I'm hoping it's not going to look too far behind before giving me room, push number two. My stops are approximately at the 50% level. Ideally, the stops should be down here, below the swing low. Now remember, your stops are merely a safety net. A stop loss is not a loss unless it gets hit. When the market looks like it has recovered the trend or is attempting to recover the trend, that's your time to bring your stops in. And that way you can avoid getting tagged out prematurely. So that actually working out not too bad. A little better follow through even than our high probability profit target. But you know what? I'll take it. We're back now to the secondary support line, which should act as a little bit of a resistance. So what made me think the market would go higher there when we're in an obvious downtrend? Well, stop it. I'll show you this and I'm going to reboot this chart. Okay, well, we had a downtrend. The downtrend had been breached, but as I pointed out, we had a significant swing high back here, which was breached to the upside. After that breach, we actually produced our buy signal on the Falcon and the Raptors somewhere in this neighborhood, which made it probable that there would be at least a short-term rally higher. We are thrashing about quite a bit here today. Looks like the buyers and sellers taking their turns whacking each other. I'm just going to reboot my chart. Okay, it did not solve the problem. Let's try this. Look at those sellers go. So, you know, even here, in spite of that little bit of a bullish rally, you pick up any sell signal, look at them go. Crazy. The cleanest two signals that printed with this latest move down, you had your nice hawk signal, your first micro macro cross. Now that one would have made me a little bit anxious just because it was so far removed from the macro line. You could have, if you were fast enough. Yeah, I definitely broke something here this morning. Ben, well, this was a red bar buy signal. It's a signal that tends to develop near the end of a trend. So you could look to short that. Come on. I better not do too much with this. It's going to there we go. Okay, so we had the red bar buy back here, which we could have looked to short, and obviously there's some sort of report or announcement being made. Has the president been allowed on Twitter again? The other signal that was looking pretty clean, and this one was probably, out of the four charts, this was probably the most tradable. Nice little trend change signal. That would have been your cleanest downtrend signal right there. Yeah, we got a bit of a mess going on here. Look at all the candy striping, the congestion. I think we may hold off here just for the moment. If the sellers fail at this point, I would entertain a buy. Oh, see, here they go. They're coming back. Or are they? All right, so I'm going to use these parameters here and essentially bracket this range. I know, trading a breakout. Breakouts always fail. All right, well, let's get my profit order in play. Order canceled. And with a little bit of luck, we'll see some bullish follow through here. Oh, look at the sellers trying to stomp the buyers again. Oh, oh, look at this. Oh, the trend is going to trump all. Ooh, they are just being nasty to the buyers today. Did I catch a break? Oh, baby. Okay, I'm getting my stops up while I can. And getting ready to close out the other position. This is why good trading, a friend of mine always said, Eric, you can never trust a breakout. Because I used to, sorry about that, I used to trade breakouts a lot. And I got rewarded accordingly. And he said, Eric, you can never trust a breakout. What can I say? Old habits die hard. All right, we're just going to leave this alone here for a moment. They seem very content to be going back and forth. Let's let them thrash about. Okay, we're getting a little bit of a bull break. I'm not going to get too crazy about a buy just yet, but so we've got a little bit of a breakout above this trading range that has been established. If we get a pullback, there we go. We're getting a pullback. You could throw your just in case order to buy above here, or you could look for a signal to actually develop here on the Raptor. If it continues higher, we will produce a number 1 signal. Oops, sorry, we did back here. So we're going to produce a number 3 signal. The Falcon, the Falcon was bullish. The trend line has changed color, as has the filter. And the Hawk just totally neutral right now. So, you know what? You're going to be better off waiting for things to actually settle down here properly. You can see we're still getting a whole lot of back and forth. I'm just going to sit and wait. All right, so we got the bearish breakdown, and now we're back inside this trading range. So this is typical of a sideways choppy market, where the market is, you're going to get the breakout, it's not going to hold, you're going to retest the other end. You can see we're going to be moving here into scalp mode quite quickly, and I think the market may even be a little bit ahead of the curve as far as moving into the scalp environment. We keep rejecting the lows, which makes me think we may see a bull move. So here we go. We've got the number 1 signal printing or attempting to print. Ooh. Okay, so we got some volatility back in the market. Let's move that up a little bit. Let's get those out of the way. We'll get this out of the way. We're against the Bollinger Suite. I don't like that. I like it to be more everything in sync. Yeah, Joe, you might be right. Joe says they bounced off 7,500. They may go higher. The market does like those whole numbers. You see, we had a support zone down here at 74.96 quarter that we almost beamed on the number. This is essentially a number 3 signal. It will not print as a number 3 signal because this bar came a tick short of the hard edge. All right, here we go again. Next signal, if it rallies up from here, should produce a number 3 signal. Honestly, I'm not holding out a whole lot of hope for this trade. I think maybe the better opportunities were the ones that came earlier. No shortage of volatility right now. It's just that we're spending all our time going back and forth. Okay, here we're making another pushback after a number 2 signal. Here now, the number 3 signal. Oh. Okay, so here now is my second push opportunity on the number 3 signal. I'm going to bring my profit target in accordingly. All right, so they did fill it. Let's see if we get any follow through on this. The Bollinger's at least in sync now. That's better. Oh, are the sellers just playing possum here? Look at that. They're waiting for the buyers to hop on board and then they smack them. Okay, don't do this at home, but I just want to point out how important it is to keep your stops far enough away. The market will very often challenge the first swing area. Oh, looks like this is one of these times it's just going to make a beeline lower. Yeah, there's no buying going on in this market. I got lucky on that one buy signal. Otherwise, this is a seller's market here today. Yeah, they're not going to let it go. Here they go. Yeah. Well, there you go. If nothing else, we can see how dominant trend really is. So you could have taken nearly any sell signal today, even ones that were not in sync. So, for instance, a sell signal up here, um, any of these sell signals, any of them, and you would have, with a reasonable stop, you probably would have done just fine. I am glad that I got that early trade in, though, because it has been a little dicey since then, except to the short side. And sometimes it's hard to make yourself believe that the market can really go lower. You look at it and you say, wow, it's come down so far. Can it possibly go lower still? Yep, it sure can. Okay, so here we have, again, just your basic with trend signals. If you were looking for a reason to get short, well, you've got it right here. Problem with this trade is, come on, not letting me in. Oh, there we go. Problem with this trade is not so much the direction, but the stop placement. So we intended to enter back here. I must have pushed something wrong. All right, so here now we just have our basic with trend signal, which occurred back here. And we'll see whether or not we can get just some trend follow through. Now, stop placement, like I said, that's going to be the tricky part. Ideally, the best stop is up here, but that's going to be pretty expensive. Alternatively, you could look at your resistance line, which is also where the last swing point was. And just eyeballing this a little bit, looks like it could be around the 50% level. Had I entered at the hash mark or near the hash mark, it kissed my profit target. My profit target would have been around 74.81, and We got very close to that. Now we're getting that little bit of a pullback phase going on. Yeah, so now they're going to make a liar out of me. Wow. This is not nice today. So what we're looking at is a retest of this resistance zone right here. After they chose to pause. Well, I can take a little solace in that. My intended entry would have fared a little better, but oh my gosh, they're being brutal. All right, well, let's just put that away for now. We'll see. I'll hold on. We'll see if we can find a quality signal here before the top of the hour. Right now, like I say, though, the market's just kind of bouncing around a little bit, checking the top end and the bottom end. Okay, getting a little bit more bullish again. This time, at least, we have a test of the extreme. See this? The retest of the low. We're back to this former breakout zone. Oh, and it looks like they're going to push lower again. So the market fairly conflicted at this point. Well, I'll let them pull back. I do think a pullback is likely, but yeah, again, you have to temper that with the trend. The trend still down. Okay, it looks like here comes that little bit of a pullback now. If they breach the trend line and push back up, there's a good chance the market will try to go higher. Oh, maybe they're not going to breach the trend line. Maybe they're just going to get going right now. And it looks as though they are doing just that. A trend line break is sometimes, again, an easier way to time your entry. When is a good time to get in? All right. Did we get the trend line intersection this time? And we did. All right. So at this point, you could probably say, all right, if the market rejects the trend line break, it will probably continue higher. And you can place your entry up above there, and you can maybe look to recapture a 10-point move, which would not be unreasonable. Put us back toward the top end of this trading range. Okay, so here's the trend line break. Here now the rejection. It's actually going to produce your with trend signals. So you see your trading band has changed direction. Guess I better get a stop loss order going. A little bit of a hesitation. Obviously some selling going on here. Let's get this out of the way. Yeah, it's fairly neutral otherwise. We're going to produce a trend change signal here on the Falcon if it continues higher. But it's not looking that way right now, is it? We keep bouncing off of the highs, that 75.05 zone. Number 3 signal now here on the Raptor off the hard edge. I don't think I'm going to tighten the trade any. Okay. I'm going to cancel that. Like I said, I don't want to do anything stupid here today. At least not for the last trade. We'll try to look for a quality setup. And it looks like we're getting a little bit of bearish pushback again, which opens up the possibility of a move lower. All right, this is maybe a little premature, but let's take a look here at a possible short below these lows right here. Oh, there we go. You know what? The market's moving around a little quick. I'm gonna throw my short order in like that. Looks like my stop loss order will be somewhere above these highs. This is a number 3 signal that will print again. You can see we had the number 3 signal here, but here's an instance for the sake of a couple of ticks, I'll take it below there. All right, there's now the number 3 signal. Oop, I better get my stop loss in play. Stop loss first. And now we'll look at our profit target. So I'm in at 88. I would like to be out at 83. Okay, we're about 3/4 of the way to the profit target. I will take the trade to break even at this point. Oh, really? Oh, scoundrels. That was a promising trade. I have a feeling I may have been just a little bit too quick with my stop there. Yeah, look at that. Yes, sons of a... Oh, well, let's put that away then. The added volatility today kind of means there's always going to be that chance the market's going to try to run your stop. Or not run your stop, but if you're quick with your stops, as I tend to be, that you may get tagged. That's all right. Break even, commission gets paid. I'm okay with it. Okay, now this is interesting. The market did refuse to go lower. That makes a buy much more probable at this point. So we'll stay here with the Raptor, the Falcon already producing the buy signal, as did the Hawk, the first micro macro cross. Let's see if we can get a number 1 signal here before we get too far away. Come on. Give me that little bit of pullback, then I'll know that next signal printing will be a number 1 signal. Oh, stinkers. Are you not going to give it to me? This is actually the first, well, not the first real pullback, but one of the few significant pullbacks we've seen today. All right, here we go. So now we're getting the pullback. We've got the warning dots. I could put my just in case order to buy up there. I know the next signal that prints will be a number 1 signal. Okay, it looks like I'll have a chance here. All right, so I've anticipated the signal. The signal is printed. Initial stops should be a little bit deeper. But we should get a little bit of follow through on this. There should be some bullish follow through. We've broken these swing highs right here. That's where we had this little mini double top that forced the market lower. We've just breached that. Again, a little mini double top going on. But this one should have a little bit more follow through. And it's not like we're asking a lot. Oh, come on. Come on, where's that follow through? You know, it's important to note too that sometimes the market will just not be in a cooperative mood. All right, so now that we've seen where the market is turning, we can actually start to adjust our stops. And here, you know what? I'm going to show you something a little interesting. Okay, so we saw the breakout. We saw this much of a pullback. How far do you think the market's going to go? Well, we've all heard you should have at least a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio, but most people do it wrong. This amount right here is actually our risk. So here is our 1-to-1. Here now is our 2-to-1. So it looks as though the market may try to recover up here. Okay, let's see how they do. Now, when you're trying to run out a trade like this, obviously you need to be a lot more liberal with your stops. You got to give the market some room to move. We have hit our high probability profit target. Okay, we've got like a mini swing here. So you got a mini swing. You could bring the stops up at this point. Ideally, when you're trying to run a trade like this, you allow the market to swing, and then when it recovers again and trades through the next swing point, that's when you bring your stops up from down here to up here. I know it's can be very nerve-wracking, especially when it looks like you've got almost $150 in profit. Okay, a mini pullback here. If we break above these highs, then I'll bring my stops up. Come on, get above there. No, they still haven't gotten through there. All right, well, it's taking its time, but you can see where my profit target was, how I came by it. And somewhere in here, we should be seeing the market try to turn back up. And once it gets, if it gets above this high right here, then I'll be able to roll my stops below the last swing point. And I'll continue to do so until hopefully it gets up here and finds my profit objective. All right, gang, I think that's enough fun for today. Tomorrow, Friday, got Rabbit Hole Friday, and well, we'll see. I've got a little extra special something for you tomorrow. All right, we'll talk to you Friday then. Have yourselves a great day. Be careful out there. Overall, the trend is still down, so be cautious on your buying opportunities. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.